I understand,
Ibrahim said with deliberate slowness,
that Bucephalus has not yet finished his business in the land of the English.
The Moor's hand drifted lazily in time with the faint music that poured forth from the house as he leaned over the railing and gazed south over the sea.
"He has finished his business, good Ibrahim,"
the Moor's companion replied.
"It is his pleasure that he follows now with his child and the training thereof."
Seated and holding a goblet of what might have passed at a distance for wine, Yusuf followed his friend's gaze over the waters.
"Are you really that anxious for his return?"
Ibrahim's handsome features twisted into a frown.
Not for his sake, no, but to see an end to this bickering. Montano, the others, even our father, the old ones can't be bothered with resolving this. They just laugh and compare the whole matter to something they saw amongst the Romans, and then they go back to their dances and schemes for 100 years hence. Bucephalus is the only one with his feet in this century.
The other vampire idly stirred his drink with a long, thin finger.
"And are you so anxious to accept the Greeks' ruling, just for the sake of having matters over and done with? There's more to you than that, my friend."
He took his finger from the drink and sucked on it blissfully for a moment, then returned to his idle stirring.
The Moor shrugged eloquently. What else is there? Discover what the Greybeards would have of us do, then dance their steps to the best of our abilities? To act otherwise is to invite the longest sleep, is it not? I just wish an end to this bickering between we children. By the dozens we claw each other's eyes out, and for nothing. All our plans will be for naught as soon as Bucephalus, or one of the other withered blossoms masquerading as our elders, deigns to tell us what to do.
"And what?"
said the seated man, leaning forwards with a terrible light in his eyes.
"If you could change that."
Ibrahim snorted in disbelief.
You've been alone with your poems too long, Yusuf. What could I do?
Make the decision for them. Unify the younger ones under your banner. Present Bucephalus, when he finishes his sojourn, with a deed already done. And if the old ones care so little for our Al-Andalus as to ignore its disposition, then you have nothing to fear from them.
But to act would be to usurp their privilege.
Or perhaps they have deliberately left this opportunity available, to see who will be so bold as to seize it, Yusuf said.
It could be.
The Moor turned back to the sea, looking at the distant silhouette of a ship making for the African shore.
It could well be, but...
And he turned once again.
Why do you tell me this, old friend? We're of an age in the blood. Why pass the cup onto me instead of taking it for yourself?
Yusuf shrugged.
Would you believe that it is because you're better suited for it? I miss Al-Mutamid's gardens and musics, the poets he'd invite to read to us. That was my age, Ibrahim. I'm not a soldier or a king. I'm a courtier from a court long gone.
Patience, Yusuf. There will be other poet kings for you to grace with your presence.
But none like Seville's was, a bird escaped from Allah's garden for an evening's sojourn on earth. Ah, those eyes, that mouth.
And he ended that night driving the donkeys of his conquerors. Well, perhaps not.
Ibrahim frowned.
But you still haven't answered my question.
Yusuf regarded his friend for a long moment.
You truly wish to know? Very well then, I believe this inaction on the part of our elders to be deliberate. They're testing us, Ibrahim, looking to see who among us will seize the moment. They want to see who is worthy of survival. Those who fail will be culled, like stallions incapable of speed when the wolf draws near.
Or perhaps, Ibrahim said softly, they wish to see which of us might eventually prove a threat.
There was silence for a long moment. Yusuf put his goblet on the polished wood of the tabletop and stood.
Perhaps, he said. I had not thought of that.
You hadn't?
Ibrahim quirked an eyebrow.
Prophet's beard, Yusuf. You're a better liar than that.
Yusuf blushed, a very human action, to which Ibrahim only laughed.
Oh, don't be so serious, little courtier. I can see now what you intended, that I should work to unify our squabbling siblings, and that in gratitude for your suggestion, I would keep you close to me. Then when Delgado and Tariq and the rest of the old ones plucked my flower for fear of finding it a bitter weed, you would be there, my humble vizier, the safe choice to assume my position. Is that what you had intended?
Yusuf stammered and took a step back.
Ibrahim, surely you cannot suspect me of this. 200 years we have spent as friends. All of Al-Andalus would not tempt me to betray that.
Probably for the best then, poet, the tall Moor said as he turned back to the sea. For I don't think that any of us will have Al-Andalus to offer you. A chill breeze whistled in off the waters, and far below spray danced at the top of the waves. An interesting effort, Yusuf, but you had more subtlety 100 years ago. You're getting old.
As are you, Ibrahim. 100 years ago you'd have killed me on the mere suspicion.
Yusuf picked up his goblet and contemplated the workmanship.
Perhaps it is for the best.
Ibrahim drummed his fingers on the railing.
Perhaps it is. So, Yusuf, when do you think Bukifos will return?
This reading from the first volume of Libellus Sanguinis was brought to you by my patron, Her Satanic Majesty Dany. I apologize profusely for its delayed delivery, and I hope it is to your liking. I would like to thank you, Dany, for the support you've shown me through this time, and I hope that this may help showcase the interaction between members of the Knight clan. For patrons of mine, who are the Primogen tier and above, I will make personalized videos on topics you request, and they could either be pieces of lore, readings, or even videos about your own characters.